The people of Dieppe are divided into two camps. A Russian chemical factory is planning to build a new fertilizer processing plant right in the centre of the town. Ecologists say the factory is dangerous and also poses a risk to the environment. Businessmen, on the contrary, insist that it will create jobs. The Factory of Division, that is the title of this investigation by our journalists in France and Russia. It's over there, that's where they're planning to build the factory, he says. Ecologists from Russia have arrived in Normandy. Maxim Shingarkin has travelled over 2,600 kilometres to bring his warning to the people of Dieppe. Shingarkin says if something was to explode, nothing of these houses would be left. He says in Russia they wouldn't have been allowed to build this factory so close to homes. The reason for Shingarkin's visit is the plan by a Russian company to build a fertilizer factory right on this spot, just a few hundred meters from the center of the town. Ecologists say that the factory will make ammonium nitrate, which was the cause of a massive explosion at the AZF fertilizer factory in Toulouse in 2001. But most of their doubts are aimed at the factory owners Uralchem, which are the second largest fertilizer producer in Russia. Shingarkin says, Uralchem has 3 fertilizer factories in Russia, and they all pollute the environment. But the official health and safety inspectors are forbidden from investigating the sites. So to see where the pollution is really taking place, we set off the town of Voskresensk, a few hundred kilometers from Moscow. Drinking water here is brought to the town by road twice a week. Local water is unfit to drink because it is polluted with chemical waste. Every morning the smoke stings my eyes, says this local resident. All the pollution falls on our land, on our allotments. Everything is polluted. Many diseases have been caused by the pollution and by unsafe working conditions. Russian ecologists who took this video at the entrance to the Uralchem factory testify that they were assaulted when they tried to talk to the company. They also question the real reason for several unexplained events. This house belonged to an ecology activist who was campaigning against pollution from Uralchem. She died in this fire, says the activist, the reasons for which have not been established. The investigation has yet to yield any results. Here we are, back in Dieppe, to meet a representative of the Russian company. Hello, I am Chermen Botsiev. I am responsible for the project. Mr. Botsiev categorically denies accusations about pollution. He believes that the ecologists have been hired by one of Uralchem's competitors. He shows us the plans for a brand new factory. The dirtiest part of the operation, he says, will remain in Russia. Here in Dieppe, they will merely be diluting dry fertilizer in warm water. It's a bit like instant coffee, the official says. You add powder to the water, there are no high temperatures involved. It's not a chemical reaction. The project has already been given the go-ahead at the town hall, but with some conditions. This assistant to the mayor says, we still have some questions that need to be resolved, but if we find anything that does not meet the official standards, then we will withdraw our approval. The necessary technical documents will be submitted in a few weeks. In the meantime, the citizens of Dieppe are finding it hard to agree. This protest in the town hall is an accurate picture of a town divided. Opposite the environmentalists are workers from the harbour, who are convinced that 2,400 tons of fertilizer a year will revive the port of Dieppe. We need jobs. There are too many unemployed, he says. If we don't produce anything, we'll all starve. But they say the factory is very dangerous. He answers, there are more dangerous ones in Dieppe, but no one is bothered about them. Behind the scenes, away from the protests, a new standoff is brewing between the Russian ecologists and the Uralchem officials. The ecologist asks, I have written to you many times, Mr. Botsiev, but have received no reply. Perhaps now is a good time to talk? Botsiev replies, no. If you want to talk about factory pollution, I have nothing to say. Could you clarify what sort of pollution you don't want to talk about? Asks the activist. The company official refuses to continue the conversation. Intimidation, provocations. In Russia, the battle between ecologists and Uralchem is far from over. In France, a decision on the new factory in Dieppe is expected within a few months.